Our national debt is too high, and the problem is getting worse, not better. A no strings attached debt limit increase will not pass.
And after months of waiting, House Republicans have released their long-awaited debt limit bill that features a $1.5 trillion increase. Welcome back to Cap Review, and joining us now is Mychael Schnell with our media partners at The Hill. Mychael, welcome back. Always great to talk to you. So House Republicans have named their plan Limit, Save, Grow Act. What does their plan exactly lay out?
That's exactly right. So we finally saw the text of this debt limit plan. And essentially what the crux of it is this piece of legislation will either raise the debt limit by $1.5 trillion or raise the debt limit until March 31st of next year, whichever comes first. And in addition to that increase in the borrowing limit, it would also put forward about $4.5 trillion in spending cuts. And this is essentially the House Republicans opening salvo in what are going to be high stakes and high profile negotiations over the debt limit. Of course, President Biden and the White House has said that it will not negotiate on the debt limit. It does not want to have any spending cuts as part of this increase in the borrowing limit. They just want to have a clean debt ceiling increase. House Republicans, though, have been pushing for these spending cuts. This was something that Speaker McCarthy had promised to give attention to during the speaker race back in January. We remember that, when it took him 15 ballots to actually win the gavel because of those conservative holdouts. They are now coming back and trying to capitalize on those promises and on those concessions that they extracted from Kevin McCarthy. And right now, House Republicans are getting their way. Those conservative House Republicans are getting what they want. As I mentioned, $4.5 trillion in spending cuts in the bill. That's significant. Now, I will say this legislation, right now, its odds of passing the House remain unknown. Even if it does pass the House, it has virtually no chance of moving in the Senate. Of course, that is controlled by Democrats. And again, President Biden has said that he wants a clean debt ceiling increase. But really, the significance of this piece of legislation is this is House Republicans' opening offer in what are going to be really intense discussions about the debt limit.
So let's compare. How much does it differ from the president's plan?
Entirely, very big differences, that being because President Biden has said that he wants a clean debt limit increase, so he just wants to increase the borrowing limit. House Republicans, though, in their proposal, they have these $4.5 trillion in spending cuts. So just right off the bat, those are the differences in the sense that that the White House is pushing for no concessions, no spending cuts to be associated with any debt ceiling increase. House Republicans are saying, nope, we want to cut $4.5 trillion in addition to raising the debt ceiling by this $1.5 trillion number.
And President Biden saying he refuses to negotiate with Speaker McCarthy on this. How do you see the two working together?
Yeah, they are at a real stalemate right now, right? Both sides are digging in their heels. House Republicans are going ahead with their spending cuts proposal. President Biden is saying that he wants a clean debt ceiling increase. At some point, look, there are going to have to be discussions on this topic. President Biden and Kevin McCarthy last met on the issue back in February. They have not met since, and that's because President Biden said that he will not meet with Kevin McCarthy until House Republicans put forward their fiscal year budget, which they have not done yet. It has been delayed a number of times. So where do we go from here in terms of negotiations? That remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure is something's going to have to happen and someone's going to have to give, because just this week, Goldman Sachs came out with some information saying that as tax season passes, it appears that extraordinary measures are actually going to run out in the first half or the first or second half of June, unlike later in the summer as was initially anticipated. So that debt limit deadline is creeping upon us. And of course, this has some significant implications if the U.S. were to default on its loans, which of course has never happened. Analysts and experts say that it would have cataclysmic effects on the U.S. economy, something that nobody, Democrats or Republicans, want to see. But nonetheless, if we want to avoid that situation, Democrats and Republicans are going to have to come together on a debt ceiling agreement, because anything that gets passed and signed into law to avert a potential default is going to require support from Democrats and Republicans.
All right, Mychael Schnell with our media partners at The Hill.